Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a video on Superman, Lois and DCTV in general. We've got a Q&A video. It's actually very exciting to be back doing another Q&A video because we haven't done one in a while. You guys have sent in some great questions, so if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future DCTV videos later this year. Okay, so once again, I want to remind you guys my merch is available. It looks like what you're seeing on the screen. The link is in the description below if you want to go get some merch and support the channel. We've got lots of stuff over there. New hoodies, new t-shirts, new long sleeve t-shirts, new sweaters and everything like that. So please be sure to go ahead and go to the merch store if you want to support the channel and get something very nice and comfy. So let's now move on and talk about today's topics. But first things first, go over to my community tab right now. It's just next to the video tab on YouTube and you can submit your questions for the next Q&A video. I've posted another one because obviously I've picked my ones for this video, and this video is going to be mainly Superman Lois centric. However, I encourage you guys, if you have any cool theories or any cool topics you want me to discuss, please be sure to send them in. It doesn't need to be just Superman Lois, it can be anything like the future of DCTV, maybe in the DCEU, you know, because they aren't making TV shows over there. Or it can be about the films, or it can be about animation. It's up to you guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the first question. This comes from Rafaro Jr., who says, "Hi Ben, my question is regarding the future of DCTV in general. And then my other question is centered around the crossovers for the Arrowverse. Do you think that they would have done more of them?" And I guess he is just referring to the fact that, you know, we've only got Superman Lois now, and if Next Star didn't come in, would they have had more crossovers? And I think the simple answer is yes. I don't think half of these shows would have been ended by now, so that being like Batwoman, that being Gotham Knights, that being Legends of Tomorrow, Stargirl. I believe all those shows would have continued and they would have had crossovers with characters from the past and characters on those other shows. I would have loved to see it. Obviously we got a little glimpse of that in the last couple of episodes of Titans when Stargirl showed up and some of our other Arrowverse characters showed up, and obviously we saw that in the Flash with lots of mini crossovers towards the end of the season and kind of nearer to the start in season 9 as well. And so yeah, I think we definitely would have got more crossovers, but it's just the way it is. However, Superman Lois is definitely open to crossovers, although it's probably less likely than it was before because we're only getting 10 episodes now, and clearly they're going to want to make the best season possible so they could possibly have a season 5 after. But in regards to the future of DCTV in general, which was your first question, I think the future is okay. I'm not going to say the future's bright because really I don't know what's going to happen. I'm still bummed out that basically the Arrowverse is whittled down to just Superman and Lois. Like, I really hope to have some sort of Flash spin-off one day or some sort of continuation of the Arrowverse because I think it's way too valuable to just throw away. So I really hope with the future DCU there is some chance to have those characters pop up, even if it's just the same actors who show up in their old roles and maybe not even be linked to the Arrowverse. It would be great to see that continue, and I just really hope for the future of DCTV Superman and Lois gets at least one extra season beyond this season that we are waiting for right now. So yeah, I think the future of DCTV is bright in terms of animation and what we're getting over there, because My Adventures of Superman has been very well received, and I think in terms of the shows that are going to be coming out on Max, which are going to be fully linked into the DCU and what James Gunn and Peter Safran are doing, I think those shows are actually going to be really good, and obviously that's going to be a big focus of this channel as we kind of step away from the Arrowverse a little bit. Obviously we got Superman Lois, which will still be our main show, but we got to focus on those other shows because this is the DCTV show after all. It's about all the DCTV shows, not just the Arrowverse. So yeah, that's why you've seen me recently make videos in regards to animated shows. You see me make videos in regards to other shows. Like I would love to do videos on the Penguin show. That's something that I'm planning to do. And so let's move on to the next question. This comes from Sky Chaser on YouTube, who asks, "Hi Ben, in your opinion, how many more seasons of Superman Lois are they going to do?" So obviously this is a question that I've answered before, but let's go ahead and give it another shot because we haven't talked about it in a while, and quite honestly, You know, James Gunn a while ago said Superman and Lois has another couple seasons in them, but I don't see it going on for a super long time. I think potentially all the way up to Superman Legacy, so I think 2 more seasons would be perfect, because Superman Legacy is coming out in 2025 July, so that gives us 2 years, and again, we don't know when this next season of Superman Lois is coming, but if they can get it out next year by the time of next summer and get shooting straight away, they could potentially bag another final season by the time we head towards 2025 July when Superman Legacy comes out. I think it would be perfect if we got like a mid-season start for that last season. So basically you have the show ending with season 4 next summer, and then you would literally have them starting, and then they would basically have like a 6-month gap, and then the final season, season 5, would air in February or March. Obviously this is just speculation. I don't have any inside knowledge as to the way that Superman Lois is going to be going into the future. I would love it to continue beyond season 5, but I think right now that's a good bet. It's either going to be this last season, but they haven't announced it's the final season, or it's going to continue for 1 extra season, which is definitely my hope. But let's move on to the next question. The next one comes from John Mark Peterson on YouTube, who asks, will we see a version of Jimmy Olsen on Superman Lois in the future? So I think this is a very good question, because obviously Jimmy Olsen, James Olsen, is a big thing to Superman. You know, it's always been that way, and even on Supergirl when we had James, he was a big thing to Superman. However, he has already been past that phase where he was like always working alongside Clark, and he would be the photographer when they worked with each other at the Daily Planet. But now he's ready to move on, and that's why he moved to National City and basically started his own life separate from Superman, and just so happened to become friends, and even more than friends, with Supergirl. But in terms of Superman Lois and what we're getting on their Earth, which is obviously not the same version of James as we saw in Supergirl, so it will be a different actor, unless they decide to get McCall back and, you know, just have him play a different version of James or Jimmy Olsen, whatever they decide to call him. I feel like this is important, right? It's nearly as important as having Lex on the show. He is pivotal, even though he's not as pivotal as Lois and the family. They are obviously the main people that you have to focus on. But if we compare to Lex, yeah, Lex is important because he's a villain, but also Jimmy Olsen is important to who Superman is. And so if they ever move back to Metropolis, I think there is definitely the chance that they could introduce Jimmy Olsen. I'm not saying that he's going to be a series regular on the show like McCard was on Supergirl. I would say he would pop up every once in a while, and so I think it's actually possible we move back to Metropolis next season. So if there's any way that Clark and Lois can go back to where they were working before at the Daily Planet, or somehow Jimmy Olsen can find them, that would be great to see on screen. I don't know if they referred to him yet on Superman Lois. Obviously they have on Supergirl, but like I said, that's separate. This is a different version of Superman that we see on Superman Lois, so I'm not sure if he's already friends with Jimmy Olsen. You would have to presume, and so if we go back to Metropolis, I guess we're going to get into that. Okay, so the last question comes from Mel on YouTube, who asks, do you think Jonathan should get powers in season 4? And do you think that DCEU will succeed? We'll answer the first question first. Do you think Jonathan should get powers in season 4? So obviously this has been something that we've been working towards for a long time. In season 1 they thought Jonathan was the one with powers, but it turned out to be Jordan. That was the big twist. And obviously Jonathan had temporary powers in season 2 when he was taking X-Kryptonite, and we saw an alternate version of himself with powers from the Bizarro world. So because he is half Kryptonian, there's always the chance that his powers could surface just late. But do I think it's actually going to happen in season 4? I'm going to say it's unlikely, because they're focusing on Jonathan's stories elsewhere. You know, him working at the fire shop again. I don't know what they're doing heading into this new season, because we got so many budget cuts. Like, Kyle is barely going to be around, and obviously he was pivotal to that story that they were setting up for like half of last season. So I guess the future for Jonathan is definitely up in the air, and I think the future for all of these characters is up in the air. Apart from Lex and Lois, it's pretty clear where they're going with that. But I think, honestly, probably Jonathan isn't going to get powers in season 4, because I feel like that's just not where they're heading. if we got a season 5 potentially, because yeah, that will be later down the line. Okay, so let's move on to the last question, and that is, do you think the DCU will succeed? So I guess, as all things in Hollywood, it all depends on numbers, like how well it performs at the box office. You guys have heard me talk about box office before. It's important in terms of, you know, the future films that they plan, because if a certain type of film isn't good and doesn't perform well, what's the point in making it? Otherwise they're just going to lose money. So it's not all about the creative direction, although James Gunn and Peter Safran have been given the reins in terms of what they can do, so they can introduce any type of character they want, and they can choose the projects that they want to have in their slate for the future. However, they're going to have to really test things out and just test the waters with the way that people react to the new DCU once Superman Legacy comes out. So I think they're really hoping for Superman Legacy to be a big hit and to make like $700 million plus, so that they can basically kick off the DCU in a good way and they can lead towards the next films after that. I think honestly, if it's to succeed, they're gonna have to bring down the budgets. You guys know that even Blue Beetle, The Flash, like their budgets are all over 100 million, like over 150 million, and it's really hard nowadays to get like a really good box office number. I don't know if that's just like post-lockdown, and you know, it's hard to get people out there motivated to watch films in the cinema. However, you've seen some films this year succeed, like Barbie is succeeding right now, Oppenheimer is succeeding. Obviously Barbie is a Warner Brothers film, so I think in order for them to succeed, they have to be smart financially in terms of the budgets that they give the films, and also because they have so many projects, it's going to be expensive to build up everything and try and release like 2 or 3 films or TV shows a year. But also they have to be smart creatively and get stories and characters and bring in the perfect actors to portray these roles and create new life for DC. So for now, obviously we got Blue Beetle coming up. He's going to be in the future of the DCU. That's what James Gunn has said. I'm very much so looking forward to what the DCU has to offer. I really can't wait to see what the Superman Legacy film looks like. But especially for me, and I'm sure you guys will take interest in this, I'm interested in the TV shows. I want to see the live action shows and the way that they actually do those shows, and are they going to be good? Are they going to be as good as Superman, Lois, and things like that? I'm very intrigued. So that pretty much does it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. It really helps out the video. Also subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video. But for now, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.